True story. A couple of years ago, in a school I know in the United States, there was a 15-year-old girl who took a somewhat revealing picture of herself with her cell phone and sent it to her boyfriend, thinking that that's where it would end. The boyfriend shared it only with a single friend, a trusted friend, and the next morning, by the time everyone got to school, the entire 10th grade had seen the photo. Fast forward to more recently here in Canada, in British Columbia, a young girl does more or less the same thing, shares a photo with herself, a revealing photo, and it gets around the school and she becomes the object of teasing and taunting. Tries to escape that, goes to another school twice I think, and can't get away from that picture that she inadvertently shared. The girl's name was Amanda Todd, and she eventually commits suicide. She does produce this cry for help video on YouTube that many folks have seen. So I'm working with a group of, this is a problem that's all over the place, all over the world. We've got kids sharing pictures of themselves, and they're not really thinking it through. The way kids' brains grow is such that teenagers, the last part of the brain that evolves is the white matter, the cerebral cortex, the stuff at the front end of your brain that controls the executive functions, the decisions that you put yourself imagine yourself in a situation in the future and then try to decide what's the right thing to do. That part of the brain in teenagers isn't fully developed. We know that from studies of the brain. We also know that in language arts, or we know that kids who read a lot of fiction tend to be more empathetic. The reading of fiction helps a person put themselves in the place of another person and helps to develop empathy in those people. So I'm working with a group of English language arts teachers trying to come up with a lesson plan to help kids develop empathy to try to deal with some of these issues. It's not easy stuff. It's hard stuff. And all the risky behaviors that kids get into, teenagers get into, may be just a function of how their brains are growing and wiring. But maybe if we help them to develop a certain sense of empathy, to help them put themselves in the position of someone else, maybe that helps them think about what it's like to be that person whose picture gets shared and how that might feel in the future. How do you develop empathy in your kids? How do you cultivate empathy in your students? Any little idea shared is going to help all of us trying to figure out or get our heads around this kind of stuff, because it sure ain't easy.